Good morning, I'm Dilip, editor of EducationWorld.
Good morning, I'm Summiya Yasmeen, managing editor.
We are happy to present today the 22nd anniversary issue of EducationWorld.
And by happy coincidence, our 22nd anniversary issue features the EducationWorld India School Rankings, which is the world's largest, most comprehensive and sophisticated school ranking survey worldwide.
For this rankings, All India rankings, and in some neighboring countries, we've interviewed together with our partners, the Center for Forecasting Research, Delhi, the well-known market research and opinion polls company, over almost 12,000 principals, teachers, parents, and senior school students to rate and rank the country's most well-reputed schools on 14 parameters of education excellence, including teacher welfare and development, teacher competence.
And this year we've introduced two new parameters, which is online education effectiveness and mental and emotional well-being services.
Yes, apart from leadership, individual attention to students, community service, etc. As we said, it's the most comprehensive ranking survey worldwide.
Yes. And this year, Dilip, may I add that we're always trying to improve our survey and our rankings methodology. And this year, we have tied up with the Center for Teacher Accreditation, which is a center. It's a very highly reputed teacher development and certification organization. And the parameter of competence of teachers, which is, we value it very highly because the school is as good as its teachers.
So double weightage.
Yes, and double weightage is given to this parameter. So what we also did was we invited schools who are ranked in our survey to ask their teachers to select 6 teachers to take the center subject competency test in English, math and science. And so the teachers' scores in the center score have been added in the
under the parameter of teacher competence.
Indeed.
So in short, we are trying to make, we have complaints that yours is a perception-based sport entirely. So we are trying to add like hard data and objective kind of tests built into our rankings.
Yes.
And one of the things about the ranking that I think we should talk about is that though it's the world's largest school ranking, something to be proud about for India, we are inundated with a lot of complaints about dissatisfaction with the rankings. The point is, every year the rankings can't be the same because the sample respondents differ from year to year. Therefore, a school which is ranked number 1 last year may be ranked number 3 this year because the sample respondents differ. I think people, our readers and people who are listening to this broadcast should bear in mind that minor fluctuations will always happen. And perhaps you should also, our readers should also be grateful that, until EducationWorld came on the scene, nobody gave time of day to most of the schools and principals in this country. And we, by acknowledging what good work you've done, what innovations you've introduced, we've given most schools that are in our rankings a national profile, perhaps an international profile, which enables schools to attract the best students, best teachers, endowments, etc.
Yes, so it also serves as a kind of report card on strengths and weaknesses and what institutional management should work on to improve.
Yes.
Because of the wide-ranging 14 parameters.
Exactly. So it enables them to conduct SWOT studies.
Yes, and also it's also perhaps the fluctuation in rankings you're talking also about is about these wide 14 parameters. Unlike traditional rankings which are done in the West, the EducationWorld India School Rankings are not based only on academics.
Indeed.
We are based on 14 wide parameters.
Because we believe that for children, education should be an enjoyable learning experience. It's not only academics. There are many students who have other intelligences.
Yes.
Like sports intelligence, co-curricular. All of these are given some weightage in our rankings. That's what differs EducationWorld India School Rankings from all other rankings worldwide.
Indeed. And also we must say that this November issue is the part 1 of our rankings. So this issue will have rankings of co-ed day schools, which includes co-ed day schools, girls schools, boys day schools, day-come boarding schools, special needs schools, government day schools,
And
government boarding schools, and also philanthropy schools.
Indeed, and for the first time, not for the first time, but we are the only people who rank government schools.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of excitement in the states, like in Delhi and in Maharashtra, where government schools have overtaken where state government schools have overtaken central government schools, like the Kendriya Vidyalayas, which usually top these rankings.
Yes.
So it's not that the Education World India School Rankings is entirely about private sector education. Our mission is to enable all schools to improve, including government and state schools.
Indeed.
So we recommend this bumper issue. It's over 300 pages, almost 300 pages.
And I must say, Dilip, that this is, when we say this is the most comprehensive and largest school sales survey, we have ranked schools in 351 cities countrywide.
Indeed, unprecedented.
That's an unprecedented scale of rankings. So you find schools ranked in the smallest, most unheard of tier 3 and 4 cities. And why are we doing this? We are doing this to highlight the achievements of schools, unsung schools, and to enable them to improve themselves further and benchmark themselves with the nationally best schools.
Yes. And we must also tell our people listening to the broadcast and our publics that a school which may not do so well in the national rankings can do very well in the city rankings. This is particularly important for day schools, because for day schools the national ranking at best confers bragging rights. It's not so important. The city ranking and perhaps even the state ranking in that order are more important than the national ranking.
Yes.
So please bear in mind that just because schools are, day schools in particular, are ranked low in the National League tables, they can have a very high ranking in the city.
Indeed.
In the city where they are located.
Indeed.
And that's perhaps more important.
Yes. I mean, we highly recommend you read this issue. It's a bumper, almost 300-page issue, and especially important for parents and educators and school managements and trustees to read and, like you said, do a SWOT analysis. Yes, indeed.
And like we say, this is not holy writ. It's not like these schools are, these enable, the rankings enable parents
shortlist
and select schools which are aptitudinally and perhaps even location-wise convenient for their children.
Exactly.
And please note, this is only part 1. Part 2 is coming up
we're going
next
to have
month.
budget school rankings, international school rankings, and boarding school rankings, as well as our preschool rankings. It will all be in our December issue.
December 15th. That will complete the world's largest primary-secondary school rankings. And before we end, we must also ask you to check out our excellent columns.
Yes, our 22nd anniversary essays written by some very highly qualified educators and public intellectuals. They include Mr. Sudhir Kulkarni, Mr. Rajiv Desai, Mohandas Pai, and Dr. Krishna Kumar,
who was Professor of Education at Delhi University.
Yes, very insightful, stimulating essays. We highly recommend you read them.
And apart from that, of course, you have our editorials and education news,
book reviews.
Please give us some credit, because we are really bringing out an unprecedented publication. And we can proudly say, perhaps unprecedented globally.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Dilip, before we go, let's quickly tell our readers that
About
in ParentsWorld, we also have a very interesting cover story, which is on the health hazards of popular, soft drinks, beverages, and what damage in terms of health they can do to young children. So we advise parents moderation and to also be careful about their children's health and diet.
The soft drinks drinking habits.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.